Hello and welcome to another episode of Motors for the Masses, and this week we are looking at Supermotos.
Indeed we are. And what is a supermoto? Well, it's pretty much a scrambler or adventure enduro style bike, but
You'll find they often have smaller wheels than you'd find on the off-road counterparts, and you'll also find wider street tyres for better road handling.
but they're crap off-road, of course. Well, this week we have two bikes from Sinis. And what are they?
They're both called the Apache.
They are.
This one is the SM125 and this one is the SMR125.
So let's get looking.
So what is the difference and are they any good?
If we could last forever and ever, then we would. Long as the guys will let us keep this loving going till it all loved out, till we're riding on the edge of new millennia. 'Cause we don't want it to ever end. We've been together all this time, now you're my only friend. We don't want it to ever end. We both know this could be over, but right now just hold me closer, kiss me like it's the best time, kiss me like you're still mine. We both know this could be over, but right now just hold me closer, kiss me like it's the best time, kiss me like you're still mine. Kiss me like you're still mine. Kiss me like you're still mine. It's so hard to walk our separate ways when all we ever said was how we make it someday. Every time I get up to leave, all these consequences come and linger on me. 'Cause we don't want it to be the end. We've been together all this time, now you're my only.
Underneath, both bikes use the same Suzuki-based 124cc electronic fuel injection engine, putting out around 12 brake horsepower.
Therefore, 65 miles an hour should be comfortably achievable.
And I'm sure on a good day, so should 70.
Both bikes have a 5-speed gearbox.
And have brakes, front and back.
Both have a flowery brake disc and a triple piston caliper on the front.
With a single piston caliper and slightly smaller flowery discs on the rear.
So the SM uses a digital speedo, a little LED gear readout and an analog rev counter, as I shall demonstrate here.
Whereas the SMR uses an all digital dash.
Both have the same upside down front forks and an adjustable monoshock on the rear.
However, where this one does have Supermoto written down its steel swing arm, this one seems to have a much more up-to-date and much more robust one, and in our opinion, looks a lot nicer too. The SMR uses rather a small fuel tank holding just 7.2 litres.
Whereas the SM has a 10.6 litre fuel tank and has 20mm more seat height, giving it 890mm in all.
So this one's 870. Still not small.
But it's not tall.
Brilliant. Both bikes have a 110 tyre on the front and a 130 tyre on the rear.
One of the biggest differences you'll notice between these two bikes is the looks.
Indeed, the SMR is much more modern looking with this nice smooth streamlined body panels and this exposed trellis frame. And this kind of has me at odds with myself. I can see its practicality, it's very robust and sturdy and strong, but it just looks a bit cheap.
What may have been nicer is perhaps a bar that just came back and in neatly tucked in the side to grab hold of it to move the bike about. I think this is a bit excessive, maybe.
This SM seems a bit more blobular than it does angular.
Yeah, it's got more of a traditional panel style, I suppose. It also has a more traditional style of frame, whereas the SMR has that trellis style frame. This one just has a single bar that runs underneath the tank. It's probably why it's got a bigger tank. And then just comes down in the normal way. Again, with the handles, these handles look nicer. Nice cast aluminium things. And they're strong, and they're not going to come off, but they don't inspire confidence when you can move them on the rubber mounts that are on the bolts. I mean, you'll get used to it, but I don't like that at all. It needs to be more rigid.
Round the back here, you'll notice quite a significant difference between the two. Now this one, bearing in mind it is a 125, it has a box underneath and two little tiny pipes that split into these rather nice looking twin exhausts, which we both agree looks fantastic.
It's pretty epic, actually. I really like that.
I really do.
Nice design. However, I also quite like this single big can. It just looks like it's beefy.
It's massive. It certainly looks like it's more 250 than 125.
Yeah.
But let's start them up, have a listen, and take them out for a little squirt. What do we think of that?
That was extremely uninspiring.
Oh, I was a bit disappointed, to be fair.
Why is that so quiet?
I don't know. Let's move on to the SMR.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly sounds better. It's still not in hero territory,
No, it's a bit.
but it's better
It's lacking a little.
than that.
Well, what do I think of this? I actually really quite like it. It's really stable, it feels really well balanced, really easy to manoeuvre. It's just a nice ride. I like it. The gear change is pretty smooth, it's quite nice. You can shift up through the gears nicely, you can shift back down again nicely. I think maybe this one needs a clutch adjust in just a spot. I don't know if I could do a long ride on this bike. It's maybe a little hard on the seat, but it is a nice riding position. You're up such that you sort of feel like you're half standing, so manoeuvring is really good.
So what do I think of this? Well, it rides very differently to the SM actually. It feels as though you are right on the tank, and it encourages you to sit a lot more forward than the other one. It's very hard seat, and when you're manoeuvring at slow speeds, you can do it, but it just feels a bit more clumsy than the SM. Overall, it's smooth though. I like the gear change, it's much smoother. The handling, once you're actually moving along, is pretty good. Not a problem at all. What I don't like is that it just feels a bit harder. And I can imagine even a short journey, it might hurt on your bum. But I mean, I do have a bony bum, so maybe that's part to do with it. Overall, I quite like the style, I like the look of it, I like the feel of it. It rides really nice, and once it warms up, it's really smooth. I'm just not sure about the balance, but that just may be me, because I'm not really used to this style of bike. So once I get used to it, I can imagine it being much better. What do we think of those together?
Well, if I had to choose between the two, purely on riding alone, it would be this one.
I agree.
The SM.
This one rides a bit better because it's balanced a bit better.
It feels nicer.
Yeah. And
Overall,
the seat is
softer.
not so hard as this one.
And although statistically it's higher,
It doesn't feel as high.
lower. That one feels higher.
It does. Maybe it's
However-
because it's stiffer.
Maybe. The biggest problem I've got with the SMR, aside from the fact it's got a hard seat and just doesn't feel quite right, is the steering lock.
Yes,
It runs out of steering lock.
It does run out of steering lock, and it makes you want to put your foot down when you're on slow turns.
Yeah, because you get to a point where you're still quite comfortably turning, you can put a bit more lock into it,
But
then
this
there
one,
is you can put that lock in, but
Yeah.
it hits the stop.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, hello, and,
Yes.
and it's not comfortable. I don't like that.
But overall, I love the look of this one.
Yes, if
And-
I had to choose for looks alone, it's that one.
But also sound. Now
Yes.
this has been running a bit, it's a bit louder as well.
It does sound nicer,
It does.
especially under load.
Definitely a much nicer sound. This is very quiet, very 125 sounding, whereas
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is 125 with a bit of fettling sounding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like someone's messed with the exhaust, which is exactly what's happened.
They've
And it sounds
got 2
good.
pipes in it.
I like it. Both bikes are similar in size. You can see us, we're 5'11"-ish, so you get an idea of the size of these things.
The only thing that's different is, of course, the seat on this is angled thusly, and it pushes you into the tank more, whereas on this one,
Pushes you back away from the tank. And it's just a better riding position, in my opinion.
it is. They both are around the same sort of size overall, although this one weighs in 10 kilograms heavier at 129 kilos.
I should attribute that to the frame style. There's more metal there.
But they do have nice chunky bars. I like these handlebars, they're very
Yeah,
chunky.
nice.
It does feel quite robust, and it certainly feels as though it can take a bit of punishment.
So let's take a moment to discuss some pricing on these.
Well, the SMR is usually £2,599, being the Euro 4 model. However, at A&R Motorcycles, they have it at £2,549, so 50 quid off there.
Nice. The SM, however, is cheaper for whatever reason. I'm going to refer to my sheet because I'm useless. Normally £2,399. AR have reduced it. They have it for £2,149 on the road.
And both bikes come with a 1-year parts and labour warranty, and then a 1-year parts only warranty after that.
Excellent.
So, which one do you prefer?
Do you own one of these?
What is your style preference?
Is it something you would consider?
Please let us know in the comments below if you have one, if you've experienced one, or if you want one, or if you have any other questions. Please leave a message below, and then please like and share this video.
So that brings us to the end of this episode of Motors for the Masses. Please join us again when we'll be back with
Part 7 of our Project Hybrid Cafe Racer 400 1978 Honda build.
thing. So until then, please ride and drive carefully.
But have fun.
Indeed.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Should we be shuffling papers at the end? Instead of dark and
Children, my papers. Yes, I'm well. We can find it. There we are.